Hi guys, welcome to my very first video on YouTube. So today I'm going to teach you guys how to make candle. So what you need will be either a chocolate fondue maker or a double boiler pot, I'm sorry. Yep. Traditional thermometer, and this is a digital thermometer. Initially I started off with digital thermometer, and probably because I bought a really cheap one online, it's not really reliable, so eventually I bought a traditional thermometer because this started off pretty well, and then it kind of just keep flickering, and then at some point of time I'm not even sure whether it's even working properly, and I was dropping the temperature because it kind of fluctuate and then it's kind of flicker, and I have to keep on and off it. So just for a peace of mind, I actually bought a traditional one, and I actually kind of use both at the same time. A beaker to measure your fragrance oil, and also you either use this or any other pot to measure the amount of wax. So remember, for fragrance oil and wax, we measure with the digital weighing scales in terms of the gram. Even for fragrance oils as well, because for fragrance oil, different fragrance oil has different density. So for the same volume, some fragrance oils actually weighs heavier than some fragrance, the lighter fragrance oil. So it's always better to just be more accurate with a digital weighing scale, so you don't measure your fragrance oil by volume. So yeah, do take note. And a candle holder, so for you to keep your candles, depends what you want. You can have like a mason jar, you can have like a mug, but do remember that mason jar, you do not really use those with a airtight cover, where it just doesn't really work, and it's kind of you kind of end up having a mess. So either this, where there's no linings, I can explain more, but I'll probably leave it to next videos and stuff. So yeah, any holders, any wick holder, so to keep the wicks in place when it's cooling down, and a wick sticker to keep the wick glued to the bottom. You can either use a wick sticker or a glue gun. Yep, that's about it, and I think we can start. Okay, so now first of all, let's weigh our wax. So you zero it out, and then you oops. So I think I'm going to use a 200. Hang on. Okay, 150 will do. So one of the reasons why I lay towel over the table is because it can be quite a mess. Sometimes you drip wax and stuff, so you do not really want to dirty your tables. It's not because I'm not wearing any pants. Yeah, and I tend to be quite clumsy at times, so better to be safe. In the meantime, let me on. So let me heat it up. Yeah. I think we can just go ahead and pour it. So zero it back and zero it. So typically you need to find like the perfect ratios for to make sure that there's maximum central. So central typically means the amount of scent that you'll get when you light the candles, if that makes sense. So all fragrance oil have their own flash point. So you have to look out for the flash point. So flash point meaning the maximum heat capacity that the fragrance oil can take before it actually evaporates. So you do not really want to heat it up so hot, and then when you add the fragrance oil, because it's so hot, the fragrance oil typically pretty much just evaporates. So you do not really get the central. So yep, let me just go ahead. Today I'm using sandalwood. So another thing about using fragrance oil is that if you just want to play around with candles, just buy in a small quantity to test it out first. Even if you want to do it in big batch, just to give friends or weddings, or you want to start a candle business. So my advice is to just start small, especially with the fragrance oil, because you do not really know whether the fragrance oil smells good and whether they actually really work. So a mistake I did is I bought quite a few bottles of these, and I started making them, and I realized that the central isn't really there. I mean, the candle itself smells good, but when you light it up, there isn't really much scent. So yeah, so this is one of those bottles. Okay. So since it's not really that strong, I'm going to just use 15. Oops, okay, it's 17. Yep. So this is 17 gram. You typically have to play around to just kind of figure it out what is the best amount of fragrance oil to use, the ratio with fragrance oils and wax. And a rule of thumb, typically a good proportion will be every 30 grams of fragrance oil is good with 450 grams of wax. So I've not explained what wax I'm using. So the wax I'm using is Soy-wax, because Soy-wax is more sustainable. So Soy-wax typically means it's actually derived from soybeans, which is more eco-friendly, and also it gives you a cleaner burn. So when you burn the candles, there's all the black shoots and stuff. So Soy-wax give you a cleaner burn, so there's lesser shoots, so which is healthier for you and your nose, and it's also a slower burn. So typically your candles will last longer. So yeah, more bucks for your money. So let me just wait up for this, and we can start mixing soon. Okay, so now that the wax is fully melted, I will want to wait until it's 185 Fahrenheit before I pour in the wax, because one, I didn't want to exceed the flash point. Secondly, when you add it in at its optimal level, not exceeding the flash point, all the molecules actually breaks down evenly, and then it mixes really well with the wax. In this case, because we really want a good central, so you want to optimize it so that when you light it up, it's very potent, and then the central is really strong, because that's the most important aspects of lighting a candle, right? So it's a bit too hot, so let's wait up a bit. In the meantime, let me explain about the wick. So you want to choose the right wick for the right border, because the wick has the burning diameter, so you want to make sure that it actually burns wide enough that you have a optimal and full wax pool. So what exactly is a wax pool is that sometimes when you light a candle, the wax doesn't really melt the entire surface, and then eventually you will have tunneling where the side of the wax is not melted, and then it just keeps going down and down and down. Another tips is that just to make sure when you light it up, just to make sure that it's light up long enough before you actually blow it off for safekeeping, so that each time you light it up, you actually give it the time for it to have the maximum wax pool, so that it actually also prevents the tunneling as well. This is wick sticker, so it's easier. So typically just tear and paste the wick on the wick sticker and then just center it inside, and use the wick holder to hold the wick. You can just use any pop sticker with a hole, or use a clothespin if the holder is small enough, or you can just use a pencil and just kind of roll it and then just kind of level it on the surface to keep it straight and centered. Okay, I think we can add the fragrance oil. So when you add the fragrance oil, you want to keep stirring. You can use a stirrer, but in this case, because this pot is so small, so I'll just use the thermometer to stir. Okay, so now the wax has cooled down to 135 Fahrenheit. It's good to do the pouring of wax. The reason why you want to let it cool down to around 135 or lower, oops, see? So it's always good to have towels. And sorry for the mess. Yeah, so always be careful with the hot wax. Okay, so I was saying, the reason why you want to keep it to 135 degrees, 135 Fahrenheit is because when you pour the wax, when it's too hot, and then when it cool down, you will actually have that dip. So you do not really want to have that dip. You want to have a leveled, nice, smooth surface. So you want to let it cool down. Yep. That's one. And then you just center it with a wick holder. Okay, so here you have the nice golden yellow wax that I just poured, and over here you have one that is cooled down. Typically you leave around 2 days for it to be fully cured before lighting them up, and you just snip it off and leave around this length, and there you go, you have a nice candle ready to burn. So if you like what you're seeing, and if you feel that this helps you in terms of candle knowledge 101, and do like and subscribe, and I'll be posting more. Thank you.